everybody, to the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with both of my co-hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. And we got a really great announcement today. And with Jimmy, Darren, we were talking before. Normally, these announcements happen after we record an episode, but this time, right before an episode. And what perfect a segue. Before we segue, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Cahaba Brewing Company. Cahaba Brewing Company, thank you for all your support for the Blazer Victory podcast. And hey, everybody go on down to the tap room at Cahaba and tell them that you heard about Cahaba on the Blazer Victory podcast. That helps us out and helps them out. But take a look on the website, cahababrewing.com. Many events they're hosting in the tap room coming up. And like them on Facebook, Instagram, and a lot of stuff going on. Speaking of stuff going on, they just dropped a new beer, and I have not been able to try it, but it's a light beer. It's like under 100 calories, under like right around 3 carbs. So I'm trying to get my summer butt in shape. So I might need to go on down to the tap room this next week and try that beer. But if you have tried the beer, let us know. Comments on YouTube. But yeah, seriously, thank you again to Kahapa. But let's segue into that announcement, baby. UAB to host the 2026 basketball tournament at the BJCC at Legacy Arena next year, 2026. Jimmy, let's throw it to you first. How big is that announcement for UAB fans?
Well, I think it's huge. And if you agree with me on YouTube, do me a favor real quick and give this video a thumbs up. Like this video. That way you can help us with the engagement to share this news. And I certainly was not expecting to get this type of update here today on Friday, May 30th, as we prepared for this episode. We're going to do just a general roster update, basketball, share some positive news about how the roster is shaking out. And then John sent that screenshot. I mean, we knew it was a possibility, right? We had the commissioner that had visited, I believe it was for the Memphis home game, and this was always a possibility. But to have it locked in and secured, and you saw our man AK already share the photo with him expressing his excitement on X. So, yeah, it's just first for me, what it brought back was the memories of when UAB had most recently hosted conference tournaments in the Conference USA days. It brought back memories of UAB cutting down the nets and punching a ticket to the dance here at Legacy Arena in front of a ginormous crowd. Which was great. It also brought back some sadness when I was thinking about the times the next year in which we were knocked out. I think it was like on a Thursday noon tip against Western
Bro,
Kentucky. That was sad.
that was sad. And I had all session tickets, but after that
Yeah.
happened, I was like, all right, I just handed them out. Like, you go. I said Western Kentucky fans and whoever fans, just go. I'm done.
That's right. Yeah, I had a buddy that had done the same thing, bought all session tickets and took the whole week off of work, and we planned
Yes.
everything around it. I remember us getting, breakfast before the game and then walking over, and we're like, heck yeah. So, anyways, the tournament does not guarantee that UAB is going to be punching another ticket to the dance, but it increases the odds, right? When you can
Yes.
play in your city. North Texas, I guess, has been hosting, right? And it hasn't been hosting, but they've been close and they haven't punched a ticket in prior seasons. So it
Hmm.
doesn't guarantee that UAB is going to go dancing this next season, but it enhances that opportunity. To me, what I hope is that it's going to give that extra motivation for the UAB basketball staff and roster this offseason because, championships are largely won in the offseason. What is the team going to do this offseason with all these new pieces that we'll talk about today to prepare? And if I'm a UAB basketball player, UAB staff member, I'm now thinking our odds of making that NCAA tournament, that ultimate goal, winning a championship, have increased. And I hope with every rep and every practice and every opportunity, they're taking full advantage of that. And I'm just kind of thinking about right now how crazy would it be for UAB to be hosting, let's say, a Memphis as an I know we don't want to
Mm.
see I don't want to see Memphis. I mean,
Hell
y'all know
no.
how I felt. But what would that be like in Legacy Arena on, I guess now, a Sunday afternoon on a nationally
Mm.
televised audience on Selection Sunday to be having that
Ooh.
opportunity, right? Like just envisioning that is very awesome, but huge news. And I want to say this, I'm glad I didn't forget this. Um, ADs get criticism all the time, a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of which is deserved. But I want to give our flowers right now to Mark Ingram because this couldn't happen, in my opinion, without the administration helping to seal the deal for UAB to be the host site for this conference tournament. So appreciate Mark Ingram, Brad Hardikoff, for everybody that was involved potentially with this outcome. Because again, I don't think that it could have been possible without their involvement. So, but just really excited for this opportunity.
Darian.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the city of Birmingham to once again have another opportunity to support this program in the way that it should be supported. That's
Hmm.
what I'm excited for. Like, so I hope that the staff and the players are they feel a little extra juice in every single game in the regular season, especially in our league matters. But I really want them to like I don't want any kind of those letdown games this year. I don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know. This is a completely new team, right? Completely new team. So we'll see. We'll find out soon, fast, early in the season, what kind of team we're looking at. I'm just hoping for a good team. I believe in Andy Kennedy and his staff. So by the time the tournament roll around, we have this opportunity in Birmingham. I really want to see Legacy Arena. I want to see it rocking. You know,
Hmm.
I want. We've talked about how we miss those special moments in basketball and in football. We just want moments, man. We just want to have UAB finally have our moment. And I can see a time where this brand new roster, I can just see it shaping up. This brand new roster, and we hit on all these recruits, and all of a sudden, AK team that's usually 8 deep is at least 10 deep. He plays 10 guys, maybe even 11 sometimes. That's right. And then we get to this like the Indiana Pacers or the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what I'm seeing in my head. Teams that get up
Hey,
and down
Knicks
the
ain't out
court.
of it yet. Hey, Knicks
Yeah,
ain't
Knicks
done
ain't out
yet.
of it yet, but
Hey.
just speaking on depth,
Yeah.
and just getting in the right players and putting them in your system. And I really want that to be a theme. This is my vision. This is how I see it going. And if we can get into tournament time and we having it in Birmingham, and us just helping everybody, not just us, but everybody that's a fan of UAB athletics. We should be promoting this. We should be getting the word out. We should be getting people ready. Like, oh, they're having the tournament here in Birmingham, so we can play our part the right way. And I want it to be a good showing on national TV, right? So when people
Hmm.
tune in, they say, "Hey, man, this is a nice crowd out here." Birmingham, they bring it. I really want that for us this time.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll promise, we're not gonna speak it into existence, but if UAB has an early exit, I will go to all the other games because I'm definitely probably gonna get the all tournament package. But question, how pissed are you if you're a Memphis fan?
I mean, Darian?
Oh yeah, right. Will go Tigers go. That's
Well,
his name on
with our
Twitter.
Listen.
number one Memphis hater,
I'm gonna let Jimmy take this one. I might. We on the free show. We ain't on the Patreon. I
Oh,
might
that's
let a couple
right.
words slide out. So Jimmy got it.
I was about
I'm
to
gonna
say,
just
can
be
the
quiet.
number one Memphis hater please stand up?
Woo.
Hey, uh, how pissed should Memphis be? I mean, they should not be pissed at all because they get a tournament that is within
Closer.
reasonable distance. And yeah, I don't. We're not. Listen, it's going to be. They're going to rotate this thing. They're already going to Tampa in
Oh,
27 and
Tampa.
28. I mean,
Hmm.
being unbiased, I would say that I mean, why wouldn't Memphis be presented the opportunity to host a tournament? I think it would be great that they're in the rotation. I would guess that they were rumored to be one of the host sites as well. So at the end of the
Hmm.
day, though, I mean, if I'm a Memphis fan, let's be real. Just as we want the tournament in our backyard, I'm sure they do as well. I think they deserve, based on their support of their program and their success, to host a conference tournament. And so, should they be pissed off? Sure, who cares? But do I care that they're pissed off? If they're pissed off, no, I don't.
Are they more pissed off? I don't think they're more pissed off that Birmingham is hosting it in 2026. I think they're probably more pissed off that Tampa has it in 2027. I know
Um,
they're probably
Yeah.
like, hold on, man, you know. But honestly, if you Memphis has like wandering eyes, like just the program. They have wandering eyes, and we can
Pac-12.
probably yeah, and we can probably do a pod on. I don't even know. I saw some of Greg Sankey's. I know this off topic, but I saw a
Oh,
lot of
I
his
saw
statement. I
that.
cannot stand that dude, man. I cannot stand him. I don't think in 2 years college sports will be very different is what I believe within the 2 year window. So we don't know who's going to be in what conference and why. I don't know what it's going to look like. So maybe this is the AAC's way of kind of just like we know y'all ain't gonna be here anyway, so let's just let's just focus on our programs. But that's just me talking
It's like
into it's just speculating.
y'all been
Mhm.
complaining 24/7. Like, why am I going to turn around and, give you this opportunity? Like, all right. So I'm not going to be sad about the program. It's got the distributions just like three and a half times, the other programs, like to get the opportunity to host at
Good
FedEx.
point.
Not, no love lost. I'm good. I've
Right.
been to Memphis. Hey, I've traveled to Memphis for those conference tournaments and they weren't too fun. Um, so I don't know. I'm sure I would go given the distance if UAB, for UAB, I should say. But no, I'm not. I'm not too sad about it.
Did you go to the pyramid, or was it in FedEx
Nope.
up
Yeah, I
there?
went to
Okay.
FedEx.
Okay.
Yeah.
But hey, legit, I had heard. It took me by surprise because I was thinking that they would do Memphis for this next year, 26, Birmingham for 27, and then South Florida for 28. Um, but hey, I ain't complaining. Definitely Birmingham. And hey, we talked earlier. Um, I've never been to Tampa. Jimmy, Darian,
Yeah.
y'all never been to Tampa?
Right.
Has
I haven't.
Mm,
Darian?
I've never. I don't. I have to read. No, I've never been to Tampa. I've
Yeah.
never been to Tampa.
Okay. We'll have us some Cahabas in the Yingling Center 2027,
Yeah, I want
2028.
to go for
So
sure. That would
yeah,
be fun.
Yeah, that sounds
fun
pretty
trip.
cool.
Definitely. But
You got me thinking. I think I've written through Tampa. I don't think I've actually experienced Tampa.
oh well then yeah, that don't
Yeah,
count.
so it doesn't count. Yeah.
So hey, breaking news: Birmingham to host UAB to host in Birmingham the AAC basketball championships, men and women, 2026. So let's go ahead and flip over to what we were planning to talk about today. Um, UAB basketball roster. You we've talked about it before on the Patreon, and I think we did a free show in April after the season was over. Tons of new faces, and you know it's just college athletics now. You're going to have a complete overhaul, um, and instead or until they put guardrails on the NIL and transfer portal, but we don't see any of that coming soon, at least for the next year. But yeah, all new faces for this 2025-2026 UAB basketball roster. Where do we want to start, guys? Should we start in order of signing, or do we just want to go with the flow?
Eh,
Well, I think what we normally like to do is kind of like start like big picture and then kind of like zoom in, if you will.
Let's do
Um,
that.
so I'll just ask like a broad question, like when y'all think about all the additions. Well, first of all, we're talking about roster turnover and everything, and like this is like the normal landscape of college athletics, the turnover. But then again, this ain't like we haven't experienced this before. Like usually you've got, maybe you have 7 or 8 new guys in the roster. Maybe you have 9, but you've usually got somebody coming back. You lose a lot, but you got Jelly coming back, or you lose a lot, but you got, EG coming back, or you got something to build upon. But this is like the most uncertainty possible. It's a complete flip. And so I just want to say, like, broadly, I think that when you look across and you think about all the additions, I think, and then you take into consideration the NIL situation for UAB, I think that the staff did a good job. I'm very pleased with the talent, and we'll talk about different guys today and like what they'll bring to the table. But I think they did really well. I think this roster overall, what I see is I see length at the wing. I see more 3-point shooting from call it your 4 spot. Um, Hopefully, what we're going to see is more uh, defense. Guys that can defend, that can stay in front of their guys. But I also see on the other side, I think that we're probably for the general speaking UAB fan, we're probably like one maybe big short, right? Like we've got, if you threw in this roster, like if you had, I'll just throw it out there, like if you had like a Bradley Azarero, like a big Brad who had not exhausted his eligibility and that seek to return, you threw him like in the mix. You got at least one guy with returning experience, a post presence. I would be like, man, we have everything. We have it
Perfect.
all.
Yeah.
Right. And there's still one roster spot, available. I'm not quite sure if the team will use it. You're not going to likely go out and get anyone of that caliber here at this point in the game. But if we were to sit back and say right now, like overall, hey, yeah, we might be one big short. But again, given our NIL situation and given everything
Mhm.
else, we're not going to have a perfect roster. Right. So, anyways, um, I would ask this question for you guys just to kind of start it off is like what would you say was like your favorite pickup, thus far? Like the player that stands out to you where you're like you're most intrigued by or might be your favorite pickup, and then maybe we can start with that particular player.
Oh, so
Darian.
I was like looking at a couple of players, and I actually
Mhm.
was trying to figure this out, right? Because I know I have looked at film, then I was going back and looking at some more film, and our latest pickup, right? It's like everybody has some level of production. I'm very interested.
Mhm.
What I'm most interested about this roster is how I know practice matters, but it's going to be some kind of like managing of egos in the sense of everybody's going to be coming for an opportunity, I'm assuming, right? And I'm just like, this could be a very good thing competition wise, but once the dust start settling, somebody's going to get left out in the cold. And all of these guys have kind of, they produced at some point. So we got, and I don't know how to say his last name, guys, so help me out, Jimmy. Paul, is it, is the D silent here?
I'm looking at it's
Yeah.
so funny that you say that. I wish I could share my screen with you. I'm on the Miami roster and I have his bio pulled up and I was
Yeah.
hoping that it would give us probably have to go like to the media center. So I don't know how to say his last name. I'd love to see you try. I'd love to see us guess. I'll
Jo
Is
guess
it
Dejobe.
Jobe. Job. Yeah. I would say so.
Jobe.
Jobay? He's from France, right? So
Yes.
Jobay maybe,
Jobe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so we don't know, Paulie D.
Paulie B. Let's go.
Paulie.
Paulie D. I mean, he was, so for example, he started some games as a freshman and sophomore. Some here, like, some here, some there, more as a freshman. Um, and he
Did you
played.
say Paula Deen and then the Butter
No,
Girl or
Paulie D,
oh,
like Jersey Shore or something, like Paulie D. Right. So, but But yeah, he started some games at Miami. So it was 2 years at Miami, coming from overseas. He's 6'7". He can shoot the three really well. I haven't really been able to look at film, just look at statistics on him, right? So I don't know. I don't know about his defense.
Joe Bay, Paul Joe Bay.
So
Joe
I
Bay.
got it
Okay.
right. Yeah, let's go. Man, I kill y'all at
Yo, I'm
like
the
a
worst.
spelling
Hey.
game or like a pronunciation. Let's do it, man. But so I'm really intrigued because I'm like, okay, so he's not really a four. So, but I think when AK was talking about him, he listed him as a
Mm-hmm.
versatile wing, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not gonna. I'm guessing he's gonna be like a three man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we're so short on bigs. Is he going to have to play some four? It's interesting when I think about this roster construction. Kyron Lindsey, the forward from Murray State that was highly touted. It came out, I believe, Texas. I believe. Was that Texas? I know he played at Georgia
Then Texas Tech.
and then Texas Tech. I didn't know if he was from Texas. Where is he from? It doesn't matter. Well, anyway, so he went to three schools. He was at three schools. He plays in the front court. Is he gonna have to play some five? I think he's only. And Jimmy, you help me out because I'm really trying to do this off memory. But it's hard to do this off memory when you have like 12 new guys.
Oh yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
it's
saying?
May.
So
It's still May.
and it's still
Right.
May. So like we're like sickos here. But is he like 6'8"?
220.
So
Yeah.
he is 6'8". So I'm guessing that he's gonna be an important player and he's gonna have to
Mm.
play some five for us,
Yeah.
because he is a strong player, right? He's 220, but his game is kind of um I think it's hard to say. You can't say Buffin because Buffin was a rebound beast, right?
Hmm.
But if I'm just trying to put you in the mind of somebody, Buffin really didn't shoot the three like that, and he was mostly inside. But Buffin gobbled up more rebounds. Lindsey was like highly touted. He was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. So maybe, and one thing that AK does do, he gets the most juice out of any lemon that he squeezes. Like if there's some talent there, he'll squeeze that lemon out and get that out. So, but the last one, well, not the last one. That's I guess officially the second to last one to sign with Ahmad Robinson, right? And I hate to do this once again, but who does he remind you of? If you look at this film, I hate to do this again.
Mm.
Who does he has the chance? Like,
Some guy that went to Michigan.
no, not no. No, the other guy that didn't. No, let me
I'm just
say
kidding. That was very disrespectful. Yakuza.
it. Yeah.
Hey, we
No,
still
but
love. Hey, we
I'll
still
say
love
it,
Yaks.
Jelly.
Yeah.
I'll say it, Jelly.
Jelly, you look at his production at Mercer, right? Over 19 points, shoot the lights out, efficient, very
That
shifty, can get into the lane
Northeast from the Northeast.
from the Northeast, like only like 5'10", but you look at the film and it's kind of like, and like half of these shots, we're not talking about standing in corner. We're not talking about
Hmm.
standing in corners. We're talking about off the dribble, step
Yeah.
backs. So AK was like, and you got high production. AK was like, you see what I did with this? Let me show you this film real quick. This is easy. And I promise you, like, he has the same skill set as Jelly. And he was a
Hmm.
high steals guy without me just looking at the stats. I just remember he was good. He was a pretty good steals guy on defense. It was active.
Yep.
So all that to say is I know Jimmy asked the question, who was our most intriguing pickup? I don't know. I don't know because they're all new. I like Salem London coming from high school. Can he crack the road?
Yes.
He was highly touted coming. What is he gonna do? We got 3 or 4 JUCO guys in the JUCO like top 150.
Yep.
Hmm.
DeJuan Anderson, I believe, is super efficient scorer.
Yeah.
Right. So like we have so many guys that and that's why I asked what's the guy that's coming over from Auburn that was hurt?
Westry.
Westry, yeah.
Westry. And I think John, you had news on Westry that said like you had a partner down at Auburn. Was that you, John? And that said,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Westry was one of them ones
Killing
before
it,
he
like in Israel or wherever they played
Hmm.
overseas. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but he kept getting hurt. And I just looked at his commitment graphic and whatnot. And he said resurrect, so he's looking for an opportunity. That he's a 6'6" guard and he's built like a freaking, safety. Like
Hmm.
he is a strong, if he's fully healed, a 6'6" guard that was balling on the Auburn squad and he just want a fresh opportunity. I am intrigued because I love that gamble by AK. Like, let me see what you, because I know all about you. The Auburn's coaching staff was like, hey man, this dude need a chance. He's just been hurt so much, and we don't have to recruit in this position to where he probably won't get the opportunity he should get. But if you got that opening, he can really be a star for you. I'm pretty sure he can be a star for us if he was doing that in Auburn. So I am just like intrigued by everybody on this roster, but I'm also intrigued on how AK manages it. So what
Mm-hmm.
if we do have a lot of depth? What if Jacob Meyer and Ahmad Robinson, all the Ari Gooch, like all what if all of these guards, what if Salem London, true freshman, is like just killing it? And so all of a sudden you got Das Chagas at the 5 because he's the big, he's gonna have to play. And then you have a whole bunch of guys that deserve to play. How does AK change his philosophy instead of just going like 8 deep, sometimes even
Hmm.
7 deep? What if it's like, well, like 11 guys deserve to play? What then? How do you distribute up these minutes? Do we have another Greg Gordon situation? And before Greg Gordon, we had the dude, what was his
He
name?
went to
That
New
came,
Orleans. He went
yeah,
to
he
New
went to New
Orleans after
Orleans from
us.
Ole Miss.
Oh,
Yeah,
James White. Yeah.
Yes,
James
James
White. We
White.
had we always
Mhm.
seem to have a situation like that when the guy just kind of was in the
Hmm.
road, something happens and it
And the
just falls out.
shaver.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have stuff happen like that because a lot of these guys are just looking for opportunities now. So
Mhm.
now we have a whole bunch of opportunity, but I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, that's a facade because we don't, because all of y'all got the same mindset. It's like, man, this UAB team, look what they did. Look at this coach. I'm gonna come here and shine. I know I am. Well,
Mhm.
12 of y'all thought the same thing. 12 of y'all.
Yeah.
So made the best win, but I'm just worried chemistry wise. What does that does it is it a good thing if you're Ahmad Robinson coming from Mercer averaging 19 and you get beat out by a couple of these guards, then what? I mean, how would you feel? You know? So I'm a little worried about that, but I hope, and I'm pretty sure he has. I know AK has, but I'm pretty sure AK and the staff around across, they've talked to these guys and let them know what's up and said it is going to be a competition and we want you to come in and compete and make the best man win. And I think that's what I hope. Hopefully that just carries us throughout the season.
John, which one did you, when you saw the signings come through this spring, like which one for you or one or two that you were like most intrigued by?
Yo, I'll say two. Number one, Das Chagas. Filling the 5 for Yaxel Lindeborg. Hey, big shoes to fill.
Mm.
But hey, JUCO kid. Was he 6'11" or 6'10"?
6'10".
6'10". Hey, he's he big shoes to fill, but he can to do it right away to contribute for this team. And the second guy, I like Jacob Meyer. He was with Coastal Carolina, then go to DePaul and play in the Big East and average right around 9 points per game in the Big East. I want folks to realize that that is a power conference.
Mm.
Um, I've heard comps from about Meyer to Michael Ertl for a few years ago. Hell of a player of the UAB. But Jacob Meyer can dunk. Ertl can dunk as far as his playing time in the Birmingham. But I'm excited for those two, especially. But piggybacking off of Darian, like when you got a whole new 12 guys on this roster, you want everyone to play their part and play their role in this team. That's to be determined. Andy and staff will determine that each guy's role with this team. But I'm definitely excited. Jimmy, what about you?
There's so many to choose from. We've kind of hit on a lot. I just wanted to make a couple of comments about some of the guys you already talked about. Paul Joe Bay, um, and Ahmad Robinson. Darian kind of started
Mhm.
from the top with that. I just want to say that I'm impressed that some of the most intriguing guys we were able to get to pretty much close out this class. Like those weren't the first commits that we got, but it was like we had all of these pieces, and then it's like here the last, couple of weeks making those two solid additions was quite impressive. Um, for me, I'll just mention the guy that we haven't talked about yet, just to kind of round some things out. Like I want to talk about Q McPherson. He's a guy that went to Northern Illinois. He started out, I think it was at Nebraska, and at Northern Illinois, he averaged over 12 a game, shot 39% from three. This most recent season, 5 boards. I think when you look at a guy like him, you can maybe just to give like a comp again, not the exact same player, but you think about like an AJ Vasquez. Q is another guy that's from, again, you go to that Northeast pipeline from that part of the country. Um, and he plays downhill. He's got good size on him, so I can kind of envision them utilizing him in a similar way. So he's someone I definitely wanted to bring up, and Evan Chapman. Evan Chapman, someone that this staff was on early, 6'7", 215 forward from JUCO, and again, this staff signed him prior to this most recent season in which he scored almost 16 a game, 8 boards, 3 assists, played in 32 games for McLennan Community College. And, what impressed me about him was he took 126 threes. He hit 43 of those. So he's someone that can stretch the three. Christian Coleman was a great player for this UAB team, but was not someone that would stretch the floor per se. And now when you add Paul Joe Bay and you add Evan Chapman, I know Paul Joe Bay is probably going to play more in the wing than someone like a Chapman will. But I think the ability to stretch the floor is going to be big. Again, I already mentioned McPherson can shoot the three. Jacob Myers can shoot the three. He shot 40% from three at Coastal Carolina. John was talking a little bit about that earlier, and scored almost 16 points a game as a true freshman. I know it's a Sun Belt, it's Coastal Carolina, but still, he's shown that. So I just like the fact that we've got guys here that can stretch the floor. Darian mentioned Dejon Anderson, who I think hit over 100 threes this past season, like at the JUCO level, which is pretty wild. So there's just all these pieces. I'm kind of intrigued by the high school. When you think about the high school JUCO and transfer portal portions here, the high school guys that we got are pretty dang impressive. Like very, we haven't talked about Lance Carr, 6'6" wing. Um, had some other G5 offers, including Troy, and I believe won a championship this most recent season in high school, as did Salim London. Talk about somebody that's used to winning championships at Legacy Arena is Salim London. So for us to be able to host, going back to what we talked about earlier, is exciting. And let me wrap it up by saying, like, out of all the signings we had, the one that I'm kind of rooting for the most, that I just kind of like geeked out about the most, was Ari Gooch. And the reason why was because, first of all, he's teammates with Evan Chapman, who I just talked about a moment ago. Second of all, he came in as a true freshman for that junior college team and produced at an extremely well level, 14.2 points per game, 3 boards, 2.5 assists in 32 games, shot 36% from three, 77% from the line. And again, a lot of times we talk about this on the Patreon. A lot of times at the JUCO level, like you come in, it's a 2-year journey, sometimes three with the COVID year, whatever. But you come in and you may not play as much that first year. You've got guys that are in year two, and you may not be a high contributor in year one. But he came in and held down that point guard slot. He's 6'1". I think he's from Minnesota. And then you look at Darian mentioned the top 20 or the top 150 JUCO rankings for this most recent season. And guess who was the highest ranked player on that list for UAB was Ari Gooch at number 16. He ranked number 16 in the postseason rankings. So I'm just really intrigued by him, and he's someone that again I don't even know right now if I'd put him in the top eight of who I would project to play, right? But he's someone, to Darian's earlier point, that could challenge someone like an Ahmad Robinson who's done at the Division 1 level, and he's already surpassed probably expectations in year one at JUCO. Who knows? He could come in and be the guy, at point and distribute. Those are some guys that at least stood out for me. So one,
That's my question,
yeah.
Jimmy. So you got Ahmad Robinson, you got Ari Gooch, you
Mhm.
got Jacob Meyer, right? They
Mhm.
all almost have to play the point guard because they're all smaller guards, but they all they all can. Who? How do you figure this out? Like, how do you? I don't. I think that's a. So I got that question for you about the point
Yep.
guard position. You got everything between the 2 and the 4 when we have the most flexibility, right? So I got that question for you, and then I want to ask you about the big man rotation between the 4 and the 5.
Yeah.
What do you think that big man rotation and what players? What do you think they look like?
Here's what I can envision is that I would say right now, gun to head, May 30th, 2025, I would slot Ahmad Robinson in as the day one starter at point, and I would put Meyer at the two. And I think that Meyer would, play sparingly at the point. I think that Meyer could close some at the point, and I think that there'd be instances in which you would be utilizing Meyer in certain actions to where you're doing those baseline screens to get Robinson open, like on a three, having him play off ball to take advantage of his shot making. So I think there's like that's kind of how I would envision it today. But I think that Ari Gooch could disrupt that right away and say like, no, he's ready to play from day one. I think there's a chance too to where Chance Westry as a facilitator with the ball in his hands at 6'6". I know it sounds crazy, but I think he's someone that could also play some as a lead guard, but we just don't know what that looks like with him because we haven't seen it. But we are hearing that he's a facilitator. But right now, I would I would say my guess would be that Robinson would be a 30-minute a game guy, and I think that Meyer will be close to a 30-minute a game guy too. And I would say that right now that Meyer would get some reps um, at the one, either A, to give Robinson a rest, or B, just to get Robinson off screens and get him open and let him score. That's how I would see that playing out. And then at the 4 and 5 man rotation, I think you got to go Big Joe, which was interesting because Big Joe had this stretch of unbelievable games. It was like a 1 or 2 week stretch where he was putting up like 20-20, like where he showed this ridiculous upside. But he also, over the course of his junior college seasons, really probably was like a career 5, 6 point, 5, 6 rebound guy over the course of 2 seasons. Why is that? And he started out at Utah Valley, so I think he was like kind of like in his third year of college basketball this most recent year, and his stats, whatever they were, I think they're somewhere around 5, 6, 7 points a game, 5, 6, 7 rebounds a game. And he was not in the top 150 of those JUCO rankings. So at the same time, though, Arizona State threw an offer at him late in that process because they saw the upside of someone like Big Joe too. But I would slot Big Joe in. Most recently, I heard AK make a small comp. He was just trying to give UAB fans a comparison. I'm paraphrasing here. He said he had a little bit of Trey Jemison in him. Trey Jemison was a guy that early, especially in his career, you didn't have to feed him the ball in the post. Like, what did he do? He was tall in the back end of the defense. In that 1-3-1, he communicated. He helped, lead things on the defensive side of the court. He offensive rebound, deep, cleaned up the defensive glass, blocked shots. Like, I think that that's probably something that we could expect to a certain degree. I think Trey Jemison year one, at UAB. Some of the intangibles that he would bring to the team, I could see there. So I would slot Big Joe in, but the question becomes, I don't think that Trey maybe played like in the low 20 minutes a game, like in year one. So I wouldn't say Big Joe's going to play 30 minutes. He might play between 20 less than 25 minutes a game, I would think, for different reasons. And so, what do you do at those positions? Well, I would look at a guy like Kyron Lindsey, and these are all my opinions, by the way. I don't know what the deal is, but I would look at a guy like Kyron Lindsey because you mentioned earlier about he's not really one to stretch the floor. And so I think that he's someone that you can play small five, and then Chapman would be, your predominant four. And I would say you mentioned it earlier. I do believe that Paul Jobay would be small ball four. He didn't play a lot of four in the ACC, but again, you have to fit the puzzle pieces as they lie.
DeJuan Anderson too.
Dewan Anderson, I think, is predominantly going to be on the wing. I think the way he
Okay.
shoots, like I would say, Dewan Anderson would be, and he doesn't just shoot because we talked about that in the Patreon. Like you look at his statistics, like he can do other things as well. But in the way I see him utilized would be primarily on the wing. I just think that Paul Joe Bay, he's whatever it is, an inch taller than Anderson. But Anderson's special from three, man. Like Joe Bay can do it, and he's proven. I think I said he's a 39% career three-point shooter. But I think I was reading some bio on Joe Bay when he came to Miami, and I'd have to go back and look at it. But I think I'm going to forget his name. It was some ESPN college basketball recruiting analyst, if you will. First name Paul, I believe. I think his name was also Paul. Nonetheless, he was talking about wanting to see Joe Bay like improve on the rebounding side of things. Because again, I think he will have to here with us. I think unless UAB were to go out and get another big forward of some sort, I think that Joe Bay, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. We'll talk about, I want to get your starting lineup projections here on May 30th. But you could tell me right now that Joe Bay would be our starting three. And then if Chapman, when he comes out, that he slides over and plays small ball four, he plays some minutes there. Just like we were talking, Meyer playing some one, I could see Jobay playing some four. But you wouldn't surprise me at all if you said, hey, he's going to be our starting three. And then you think about, I'm not going to go my starting lineup yet. But that's kind of how I see it. I think that I would slate Big Joe and Evan Chapman. I'm a big Evan Chapman fan right now. The way he plays, the energy that he brings, um, the way he can stretch the floor. I'd put Chapman at the four, and I think that Kyron Lindsey, who could win a starting spot, and Joe Bay, who could win a starting spot. I kind of see them contributing at the four and the five respectively as well.
Yeah, the only thing I feel like that I think disqualifies Kyron Lizzie from winning that starting spot is the fact that Das Chagas, Big Joe, he doesn't shoot the three. So I think this team has an identity already that AK is already looking for, especially
Hmm.
offensively. I think we'll have to find that identity defensively. So it may be a while because if we're playing Jacob Meyer at the two, who's like 6'2", you know, and Robinson at the one, who's like 5'10". That's a small backcourt, but
Hmm.
we are also going to have a small front court. If we got, Das Chagas is good size, 6'10". But then we're gonna have like a 6'8", 6'7" guy at the four. It's not gonna be huge. And
Hmm.
we could be decent at the three this year with with Dewan Anderson. I'm assuming with his efficiency and shot making, he'll probably be my starting three. Or I don't know if Chance Westry is the wild card to me. If the
Hmm.
guy come out and he's healthy, you know, then what? If you got a healthy Chance Westry, right? He's 6'6", he's 30. He look like he about 225. You know, and if he has this two-way play, I love two-way players. I'm willing to. If you watch the NBA playoffs right now, those teams, all teams that are playing still, are full of two-way play, especially on the wings. We talk about OKC when you talk about the Casey Wallaces, and I love Alex Caruso, right? If you I look so I look at our roster and I see guys that I'm not sure if they're two-way players. You need two-way play. Chance Westry is one of those guys that gives the ability. I think our point guards are good at the point of attack on defense, because I think a lot of times when we look at stuff and we look at rosters and we look at statistics, we only think about our identity, our identity offensively. Offensively, we never think about it defensively until the game is being played. And it's like, dude, we cannot stop danger. Like he is getting rebound after rebound. He is, yeah, because we lack size in there, and we only got Yaks, and Yaks is playing 1 through 5. Basically that's what it felt like. So but defensively, I look at, I pay attention now, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, yeah, but I don't want us to be too small. I don't. So if we're going to be small, I want us to be big in some areas. So if we're gonna, if we got Das Chagas, who's a good size center, we're gonna be kind of small at the 4. That's cool, but we can offset that with good 3-point shooting, right? But I do want somebody that's big and has some size at the 3 because
Hmm.
they need to come and help rebound because I don't want to run into a Memphis and they getting like any rebound they want, and it doesn't matter if you can shoot or not because we can't get the freaking ball, right? Or we can't defend a PJ Haggerty type guy that's coming downhill, and Das Chakas gets in foul trouble. Then what, right? Because you only look at stuff from an offensive standpoint. You see what I'm saying? But no, I hopefully these guys that we have are two-way guys, right? And that's the only thing that kind of I'm like, yeah. But like Jimmy said, you have to give up some things in
Hmm.
order. Like in this era that we're in, we can't just go out. Anybody would love a 6'7" 3 and a 6'6" 2. That block shots and rebound, and you got a 7 foot guy from whatever stand, whatever overseas. You're out, somewhere from Northern Europe. You're right, from Eastern Europe. You get a guy
Get a
from,
Bosnia. Let's get like
yeah, you get a
Europe.
Bosnian
Right.
guy, yeah, or you get where did the guy come from? He was from South America. The guy from FAU, the high
Yeah.
energy guy that we was like, dude, chill out.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. Yeah.
yeah.
Did he? I think he transferred to Xavier or something. I think he's now gone.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I think he's at
Probably.
Xavier.
I'm not surprised. I mean, everybody transfers, but
Yeah.
like we don't have those type of. We got our roster is. I'm looking forward to seeing a roster that runs and shoot.
Mm,
We got so many ball handlers
Yeah.
now.
mm,
We got so many guys that can make plays. Last year, I'm not sure if we had this level of ball handling that we have this year. I feel like I'm very comfortable at point guard. If we're talking about positives, I'm like, dude, if Ahmad Robinson get in foul trouble, I'm like, okay, that's cool. We got
mm.
Meyer that can. Okay,
My.
that's cool. We
Yeah.
got Ari Goots right there. Okay, that's cool. We got McPherson right there that can play some. Okay, that's cool. We got Chance. I'm like, oh, we got some ball handlers on this team this year. So can we play into those strengths? I want us to find an identity fast. I want us to gel, and I think we'll have a shot at running teams off the court just based off playing fast, playing together, and shooting the heck. DeJuan Anderson, Evan Chapman, like us just standing up and doing this all day. Three. That's
Yeah.
what I want to see from this team.
John, what's your starting five that all of our listeners are going to hold you to that you're going to
Oh
make a projection
man.
on May 30th?
Right. Whatever Andy ends up deciding. But for real, like I Chagas has slotted into the 5 spot.
Can we agree all on that? Like if we're talking about our
Yes.
starting five, Big Joe
Yeah.
slotted into five. All right, we're all in
5.
agreement there.
I think we all agree on Robinson either being the 1 or the 2. I say 1.
I like
Yeah.
Robinson at the one. Are we going to lock that in, Darian? Ahmad Robinson at the one. All right,
Okay.
Yeah,
we got our
I'll
one.
lock that in. Yeah.
All
And
right,
then Meyer at 2. Lock,
I would
right?
agree. Darian, do
Yeah.
you agree?
Oh,
I love Myers' game. I'm just waiting to see defensively how that looks. But
fair.
I would give that a
A
yeah,
nod.
I was saying,
We'll
yeah.
give it a nod. All right, so we
So
got one, two, and five.
so I think the 3 and the 4, like we're probably gonna differ.
Yeah.
Um, probably Anderson the 3 for
I
me.
didn't realize that when I was talking about Anderson earlier, he's only 6'2". I thought he was taller to John Anderson.
Oh, I thought he was taller too. I thought he
Yeah,
was
he's
like
only
six
6'2".
Oh,
six.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
oh.
well, see, now I have to go back and I have to rethink
Mm,
this whole thing. So now I can't. I got him confused with someone else
Yeah,
for
yeah,
for whatever reason.
yeah.
We can't have
No,
Ahmad
he have a
Robinson,
six.
Jacob Meyer, and that's
Yeah,
just not possible.
yeah.
Like,
Dang.
What about the
Who's
four? What if we talk to the four? Like,
uh,
what do you guys? I would put Chapman at the four.
Chapman?
Pretty good
Chapman.
about that.
Chapman.
yeah, or okay, so if we're working this out, if since Anderson wants to be 6'2" now, he wants to be 6'2" now. So I think we have to be big at the wing. So I think we have to have a Chapman Joe Bay starting like alongside of Das Chagas,
Hmm.
or Chapman, any three of Chapman, Wistry, or Joe Bay.
What is
That's gonna have to
Westry? Is
be
he six
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 five,
six.
six
six.
six, six
Yeah.
six?
Yeah, so it's gonna those are between the 3 and 4. I don't really care but those.
Who's it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless Lance Carr won't want to come in, he's like 6'5", or
And
Salem
he's a
London.
big time athlete, Lance Carr.
In London too.
Exactly.
Hey, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Th- those guys are taller too. So I think we have a lot. I think that's the problem with this roster. It's like it's a whole bunch of skill. Don't get me wrong, but in at our guard position now, I mean, we got unless we put McPherson, he plays some minutes at the three. He's 6'4". I think we did that some with when you. I love your comp of Vasquez, right? But
Hmm.
we did do that some because a lot of times we would have whatever point guard we would have out there between the guy that went to Mississippi State and
McGee,
McGee.
yeah,
Yeah.
six
McGee, and
two.
so we'd have one of those out there, and then we would have Butter at the two, and we'll have AJ Vasquez out there at the three. I mean, we did that a lot, so it's not like that McPherson can't play the three, and he's productive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He was, so we're not gonna just not play him because, well, he kind of 6'4". We got all of these 6'2" guys. Like the size wise, the roster puts you in a weird spot defensively. But I think we've seen AK make it happen. Hopefully one of those, like you said, Lance Carr is a big time athlete. We know about Salim London and what he can do. Those are it's three wild cards. The two high school guys and Wistry.
Hmm.
We don't know what we're gonna get from Wistry because of injuries, but his ceiling is so high. And the two high school guys, they're young and typically on the AK roster, high school guys don't play their red shirt. You know, they sit, but these two high school guys are good. Like Jimmy, they're highly talented. They're good players. You give them a shot. It's a free roster they should have a shot to play. It ain't like we got nobody returning. So if they just win a job, then what? But man, so many guards under 6'2". It's
Check
kind
Hmm.
of
this
tough.
out. This would be mine. You got Ahmad Robinson, averaged 17 a game this past year. Meyer, who averaged 9 in the Big East and 16 the year prior at Coastal Carolina. So you got 5'10 Robinson, 6'2 Meyer. Give me Joe Bay at 6'7" from the ACC. Has so much length. He got a 7 foot wingspan, Darian, and he can shoot the three. And he played in the ACC. Like he's a guy that was rated as high as like a 4 star. Obviously went to Miami. Like he's someone that I think I can just see really excelling, and I think it's necessary. You don't need him to rebound as much if you're starting him out in the wing. And I would put Chapman. I'm just real high on Chapman. I think that he's going to bring a lot to this team in a variety of ways at 6'7", and then I think Big Joe at 6'10". So I think you offset some of that lack of size at the one with a wing in the front court of 6'7", 6'7", 6'10". I think gives a lot of versatility and options there. And I think that you still, to your point, like Chance Westry, I just put in as like a question mark because of the injury history. Like I think that his upside is extremely high, but you still have the opportunity to bring in a 6'6" Westry off the bench, a 6'8" Lindsey off the bench, and you still have a 6'4" guy that's built like Vasquez, and that's 8 guys right there. I think that they bring a lot to the table, and I think to your point, you've got all of these guys like Gooch and Anderson and the high school guys. I don't want to forget anybody if I am. I think that's it. The Gooch, Anderson, the high school guys that can still bring something too. That's what I would say here on May 30th. And I think that AK and the staff has this blank canvas that you can look at it one way and be like, oh, we're losing all these. We are. We lost everybody. Or you could be like, okay, we've got AK, the GOAT here for us right now at the head coach, and you've got a strong staff, and they've got all of these pieces that they put together, and now they've got all summer. They got the motivation of hosting the conference tournament next year. I'm putting my faith in the staff that they're going to be able to put together again because we don't lose games at UAB under Andy Kennedy. It just doesn't happen. And that's why my one note, if I had to say maybe like something that is just on my mind, is that a few of these guys that are transferring in, whether it be McPherson from Northern Illinois, they were not good. Miami was not good this past season. Who else do we have on here?
Their coach
Amon,
retired, right? Didn't
yeah.
they have a Okay, yeah.
And then Robinson, I don't think Mercer was any great team. Maybe they are better than given the credit for. DePaul was better, but still not a winning basketball team this past year. Like some of these guys coming in, Westry didn't play. Some of these guys coming in haven't won at the didn't have the same success winning games coming from winning programs as what UAB and what AK has built here. And so that's going to be a factor. So how quickly can they come together, but also do everything that's required to win basketball games? Because remember, last year you had Big Brad who came over from a team that wasn't very good at St. Louis the year he left, fired. I think their head coach got fired, and you had the guy from Georgia Southern. Why are we so bad at remembering people? From the plate number 5, Tyron Moore.
More, yeah.
Yeah.
Tyron Moore came over. He wasn't really a part of a winning basketball program at Georgia Southern. And then, that's just a factor. But nonetheless, I'm trusting in this staff and I'm really excited
Mhm.
about what they're going to be able to do.
And they've done it before too, Jimmy. Quan Jackson coming from Georgia Southern, Mike Ertl coming from ULM. So he's done it before, but that is a valid question about, hey, the sooner the better. And we've the last couple years, hey, last season lost to Vermont. The year before that, who did we lose to? Like
Was it Bradley? What's more certain,
Bradley.
UAB losing in football their first road game or week 2, or UAB basketball losing the home opener?
Schedule like a swag team for the first
Yeah.
game, please. Let's get this dub.
Yeah,
Please,
Start the
I
please.
season.
really do want to get this dub. Like I want to get an identity. Like
Yes.
our problem has like with this team is it's taking time for an identity to form in basketball. It's taking
Mhm.
like way longer than you would like for it to take. It's taken to the point to where it's like we gotta win the tournament to make the dance. That's how long it takes for us to. That's been 2 3 years in a row that it's taken that long to form an identity, right? So if there is you know, if I'm being critical about something, that is the one thing I really want to be critical about. But on the other hand, this roster kind of forces you into an identity.
Mhm.
Honestly, when I look at it, you look at the 3-point percentages and you look at the size of the team and you say, okay, what are our strengths and weaknesses? I don't even have to see them play. I don't have to see them play to look and see, like, okay, we're small, but we have a lot of ball handling and we have a lot of shooting. What do we need to do? We need to gang rebound.
Mhm.
We need to run. We gonna spread you MFers out. We gonna spread y'all out, and we gonna get down here. We got guys that can get down here. We got guys that can score. But if you're gonna send help, we got everybody besides the 5 man. I think the 5 is gonna be either Das Chagas or Kyron Lindsay. We got anybody besides them that can shoot the heck out the ball. So you pick your poison, but we're running and gunning, and then on defense we're gonna just have to help each other. We're gonna have to help each other. We have a lot of small, quick guys. Fly around, get steals, active turnover. Are we gonna get burnt? This is the type of squad that I'm like, okay, run the 1-3-1. Run the
Yeah.
1-3-1 because
Mhm.
I'll take those chances because we can possibly get a pick six, as I like to say in basketball. So I think that this roster, ironically, like I see that's how we play, and if we can defensively, if we can work together on the string, this roster, this team can be really good. I really hope that this team goes deep. I hope that, like, depth wise, I hope that we play a lot of guys because I see them all. They have played and they have all been good in there. And like Jimmy just said, like, guys came from teams that kind of, was like, but those guys have been productive in their roles on their teams. If you can get those guys going and we can go 10 deep and we can run and gun. I I look at the Indiana Pacers, man, and I'm just saying, like, hey, we can be the AAC version of that, right? And hopefully we can figure that out game one. Maybe they figure it out in practice. And that way, I feel like that's our way. That's our I feel like I'm like Doctor Strange. If y'all looked at Endgame and he did like this and it was only one, we had that one way that we can win the big dance of the AAC tournament. It's in Birmingham. This is the way. This is the way I see it right here.
Love it. Love it. Well, hey, YouTube at Blazer Pod, help us get to 500 subscribers. That's the next goal. But comment below what is your starting five, and what do you think this team needs to do in order to get uh go dancing next season. So again, at Blazer Pod,
Again,
tell
it's
your
May
friends.
30th. Let's say
It is May 30, right?
It's May 30th, guys. And we're just chatting, so no pressure, no pressure.
No.
Good content
I'm
though. Good.
screenshotting everybody's comment of who the starting five is, and in December, I'm gonna put them up on the screen again. We're gonna look at everybody.
You dumbasses. I'm just kidding. Us included.
Yes.
Andy or somebody on staff's probably listening to this episode. What in the
Like,
what
what
in
are
the
they
world are
talking
we?
about? Like, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Starting five is
Oh.
gonna be like Ari Gooch. It's gonna be like the guys that was like McPherson. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, the Chance
Let's
Westry.
go.
Like
yeah.
that's Chagas is gonna be like the third big used off the bench. Like
Of
we're gonna be
course.
like, oh yeah, never mind.
Oh man. Well, hey guys, it's been a fun episode. The summer mode, look for at least two free episodes in the free feed per month. Um, a lot of content going on in the Patreon. If you're eager for more content, in the Patreon, we do a couple more exclusively behind a paywall. If y'all want to, it's just $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. If you love it, go ahead and prepay for a full year, and that'll save you 10% off your subscription. Jimmy, go ahead and send us out. Until next time.
Hey, happy birthday to Natalie, my wife. Love you.
Oh, happy
Natalie, happy
birthday! Whoop,
birthday,
whoop.
Natalie.
If she's going to listen, if she made it all the way through this episode, I will be absolutely shocked. But if you are, appreciate you. And appreciate all of our listeners and our Patreon subscribers. Shout out to Kahaba. Y'all have a great weekend.
Oh, shout out. Speaking of birthdays, shout out to my baby. She turned 10 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Hey, quick fun fact. She did support the our show. She went on the YouTube and she was like listening. She got us some listens in it.
Let's
And
Yo.
she was like, I
go.
really didn't know what you guys were talking about. She said
We
I was
don't
trying
we
to pay
don't either.
attention.
We don't either.
Said it was kind of boring. But I appreciate my baby. Like I didn't prompt her at all. She is the sweetest.
That's
She came
cool.
and she was just like, I'm gonna run them numbers up for my dad and his friend. So
Let's go.
shout out to Natalie, shout out to Azari on birthdays, man.
Let's
Yes.
go.
All right, go.